sticking with Schefter because he blew my mind multiple times in 90 seconds. Second time, he said that the Niners could have gotten a second-round pick or more for Jimmy Garoppolo before the surgery. He just casually said that. And my initial reaction was, well, then why didn't they? What were they waiting for? Or more? What do you think?
I'm selling that one. I don't believe it. And, his surgery, although having the surgery took him out of being eligible to be traded because you can't trade a player who's injured. Mm-hmm. His surgery it's not a major surgery. So the ultimate tell of whether this is true or not is when he starts throwing, whenever that is, next week or two. Right. Is he going to get a second then? Because if he could have got a second, whenever this was in March, then he should be able to get a second now, right? Like this isn't a major surgery that's going to hinder him in any way.
Yeah, they're making it seem like it's what happened to Drew Brees back in 15 years ago when he left San Diego to go to New Orleans. And remember, what's his face? Nick Saban in Miami was trying to get Drew Brees, but their medical staff failed his physical. No one's going to fail Jimmy Garoppolo's physical. If you really like Jimmy Garoppolo, you trade for him, even with the surgery, bring him in, get him to know your locker room, your playbook, and he can throw when he can throw. But if he's great, he's worth it. I mean, the Niners are just trying to use this as an excuse. A second or more. There's
a shoulder capsule, right? It's shoulder capsule. Is the
it's a shoulder capsule. And again, for the Niners to float that, fine. I guess, there's no rules in this stuff. But for Adam Schefter, who? Tell us, Adam, you're the insider. Who was floating a second or more? A second or more?
Yeah, I do not.
Matt Ryan for a third? Sorry, I just get worked up.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, it's understandable. I don't see him getting a second. I don't see him getting a second back then. Now, when you could have got a second, in my opinion, was before last season. That's when I believe there were actually confirmed reports of multiple people, multiple teams interested in Jimmy, and with as high as a second being offered. And I think they really just kind of screwed themselves by waiting. And I think Jimmy and his agent screwed themselves as well by electing to have this surgery in order to be, my thoughts, kind of like what I wrote in that article a couple months back, is that his agent and him thought this was a good plan, that he would in turn be released and that they would be free to pick where they go after this. And I think that backfired on them. So I think Jimmy and the Niners are both kind of screwed themselves a little bit with what they're going to be ultimately able to get for Jimmy.
Yeah, I mean, you got to remember, the Patriots had that window between Brady and Mac Jones where they were kind of desperate. They had Cam Newton who was not working out for them. And I think they were probably interested in Jimmy Garoppolo still. And, they probably could have traded Jimmy Garoppolo back to New England after that Super Bowl appearance for a first-round pick. But the Niners thought that Jimmy was getting better and Brady was getting worse or something, so they held on. Then after 2020, when Jimmy misses half the season with a high ankle sprain, to your point, they probably could have traded him back to New England for a second-round pick because they didn't have Mac Jones yet. But they didn't. And they held on to Jimmy because I think what they were thinking was, okay, if we could get a second for Jimmy now coming off a down year where he was injured, all we got to do is keep him upright, and Kyle can goose up his numbers. Debo and Kittle make him look good, and then we'll trade him for a first. And they did all those things, and he still isn't worth anything. And they're blaming it on a shoulder capsule surgery? No.
Yeah, I think what the biggest reason why he's not worth anything now is, honestly, I know I'm going to piss off a lot of Niner fans, but his playoff performance was awful. It was bad. That did not help his value, his stock whatsoever.
Yeah. I mean, he's supposed to be this guy who's a winner, right? He'll take you somewhere. Well, he's had 2 stints in the playoffs, and he was awful in both of them. And I think it's pretty clear that no team can put a better fit of a supporting cast around Jimmy than the Niners did. And he couldn't win a Super Bowl. He had 2 cracks at it. You're not going anywhere with Jimmy. He's 30. He's on a 1-year deal. He's expensive. He might be the 25th best quarterback in the league, maybe, but he's not worth it. Better off going with, the Niners, better off going with a total unknown who has potential than Jimmy, who, to me, I think the book's out on Jimmy. It's not just that he sucks, that he stinks in the playoffs. It's that he has a complete inability or phobia or both of going deep. Can't do it. I believe that the stat is in his entire career, 5 completions, 5 interceptions on passes thrown more than 30 yards downfield. Can't have that as in a starting quarter. I'm sorry. You can't just dink and dunk forever.
I mean, the Niners showed their hand when they traded 3 first-round draft picks in order to draft Trey Lance. I mean, that you're showing your hand at that point. If Jimmy was who they're trying to make him seem like now, while they're trying to trade him, they wouldn't have done that. The book is out on him. I think, NFL executives, they're intelligent people. They understand who Jimmy is. They know that Jimmy has in large part been carried by Kyle Shanahan and the 49ers roster in general. I don't see Jimmy going anywhere and being in a better position and with better opportunity than he has been for the last 4 or 5 years with the Niners. And I think everyone knows that.
Everyone knows it. There's no team out there be like, we can put Jimmy in a better situation. No, we don't. We can't. Sorry. There's no way we can give him Deebo Samuel and Kyle Shanahan. And no.